When Motobu does it, he does it with an ippon ken. He strikes up that way. Personal preference, I can snap my hands into all those various hand positions I've learned. Ippon ken always feels a bit bleh when I do it. Right? So when I do this one, what's important is that you strike with a very sharp point. Right? So when I do it, I use that sharp point. Because then my hand gets to stay in a fist and I don't need to muck about changing my hand position. Okay, so I have no issue with, that would be traditionally how Motobu does it. I do it like that. I would suggest you play and find out which one you prefer. Be careful with it, because where you're striking to is right underneath, between those two muscles, right with the nerve. Have any of you read the Moving Zen book by Nichols about his training in Japan? Good book if you haven't read it. Anyway, there's a story in that he tells about, training with the JKA and stuff, and then practicing this strike. And he tells a story later on where there's a guy that's drunk on a tube train, and he's holding the kind of thing up. He's saying, then Nichols decides if he goes for me, I'm whacking him. So he hits him under there, and through the pain, the guy collapses. And it's another one, I shouldn't have done that, I'm really embarrassed. No, you're not, you put it in your book. I'll tell you something, there's probably my life I'm embarrassed about, you lot will never find out about it. I'm never going to put it in a book. So it's a good story, if you know what I mean, despite the false humility. So this is the one where he also slips. He moves out of the way. So he moves out the way and parries. Now, he doesn't explain this, but this is my reasoning. If Ali threw a shot down here, well, why don't I do this? That would be the best place for me to hit, right? So, if I throw a shot and boom, I can catch him in the head there. But, if I'm slightly further away, can't reach that. So I'll hit here. Or there, if you're doing it as Motobu does it. He's okay, so why is he hitting the arm? It certainly looks that way from the pictures as well. It's because it's the only thing to hit. He's okay, I think that's what he's trying to illustrate. You're better hitting something than nothing. My favourite illustration for this is, years ago, we had a girl training with us called Paula, was a brown belt, a little Mediterranean girl, she was tiny. And then we've got Anthony, another guy that trained with us, who's a huge judo player. He's a gentle giant, but he's a massive, massive guy. When those two would train together, it was always quite comical, but they got on quite well, right? So one day they're doing sparring, and Tony's got hold of her here, and he steps in, he kicks her leg out. So she lands onto her knees. I'll do it gently because we're on the way. So she ends up like this. And he's a giant of a man, so he's just pinning her. And she's laughing because she feels, I'm in a bad position here. And she turns her head up and looks at me and she goes, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. So you've got to do something. And then she realised she could see his big toe. So do you mind reacting? She hammer-fisted it. Ali was going to lock it. You are a brutal man. He hammer-fisted. As soon as she hammer-fisted his toe, he took his toe away and his weight away. So she shot straight back up. Now if I was to say to you, hammer fisting the toe can be really effective, people think I mean, but if you're already there and that's all you've got, you may as well hit it. Right? Funakoshi talks about that as well. If you've been knocked down, elbowing the thighs. And he's not saying, in a real fight you wouldn't drop down so you can do it, but if you're there anyway, you might as well. He's like, okay, so that's how I see this one. It's the only thing there to be hit, so that's what I'm going to be hit. So when you're doing the distancing for this one, you need to make sure that when you jab, you can't hit them with that hand. He's like, okay, so this is the first part of it. You've got to parry and go bang. As soon as you've done that, grab this arm and come over from there with a back fist, which he's going to avoid. Not with a block, you could block it, but he leans away. But just leave that for now and have fun back fisting one another. It always reminds me, like with knife fighting, where that's quite a common thing, where they'll go, boom. So they'll take the arteries there as they do it, a lot of the Filipino stuff you'll see that in. So it reminds me of that as well, boom. And then I'm coming immediately over with my back fist strike. By moving forward. So this one, I'm too far away to hit anything else. So I may as well hit it. And then I'll push it down and move in and go for my back fist. Which ends up like a Gion style posture when you do it. Is that okay? But the key thing is, notice what I'm doing with my head, I'm doing that. So he's leaning as he does it. He's not upright. And then he comes over the top and corrects his distance. Right. Which again, a lot of karate people these days always have your spine straight or there's this bad posture. The old masters had no problem with leaning if it was tactically advisable. Yes, it messes your structure up. But it's better that you still get the structure out of the way and don't get hit in the face, because that really messes your structure up. He's like, okay, so there's a little slip, which again, the idea of slipping, people associate with boxing and only boxing. Ridiculous, really, eh? As if people all over the world independently couldn't come to the conclusion, develop the idea that if someone's about to punch you in your face, moving your face might be a smart idea. You know what I mean? You know, and nowadays you see it all the time. Right? Things like there'll be a lock in a karate kata somewhere, and then someone goes, I wonder how that jiu-jitsu lock found its way into karate. It didn't. It's just that people independently of one another learned that locks could move. That shoulder throwing, pin and godan, he and godan, you know, how did Itosu learn judo? He didn't. You know, there's people independently worked out you could throw people with this. The classic example is the bow and arrow. Yeah? Every single culture in the history of mankind worked out that was a good way to propel sharp, pointy things over a big distance. Right? Whether you're talking about the Native Americans, the Romans, you know, the Mongols, you know, the English longbowmen, all of them worked out that works. It's not like the Steve Jobs of his day invented the bow and arrow and went on a world tour. You know what I mean? I think that modern thinking, one guy invents something and they spread. It happens in martial arts, right? They always assume there's a common origin. Everyone worked out you could slip. They didn't learn Filipino knife fighting. Everyone worked out that was a good target. They worked it out independently. Is that okay? Everyone okay to give that one a go? So parry, grab, backfist. Okay, that's the first part of it. Is it okay? In a minute, he'll be leaning away, but we'll get to that. So when you do that backfist, they lean back, which again is an entirely instinctive thing, right? They see it coming and they lean back. So number 10, the theme to me seems to be more about hitting what you can hit. So on the first one, talking about I can't hit anything else, I'll strike the arm through from here, because that's all there is to hit, right? Having done that from there, I do the backfist, but he leans away. It's not there, right? But look at all this now. That rib cage is it's all nicely taut and ready to beat on. So when he's done, when he goes for 1, he goes 2, he leans away, he just goes smash. Just drops his elbow in it, as is his wont, and then he moves away. Is that okay? Because the head moves away, that's not a good target now. This is a great target now. Is that okay? Because everything's nicely kind of stretched out for you. It's in a nice concave shape, convex shape, you're ready to go. So from there again, 1, 2, 3. And then you move away from there. Is that okay? Number 10, arguably one of the most intricate ones. Number 11 is a pair to number 4, really, which is fun to do. And number 12 is just groin grabbing. So you're nearly there. Is that okay? So see if you can do that one. So 1, 2, 3. Is that okay? Do it with your partner, and then I'll give you a chance to do it solo as well. Right to right. And you start from that position like you did on number 4. Remember I said, well, probably seems 2 months ago, but I said about, you know, you push and then you move in. So you're on the attack on that one, right? I'm applying the forward pressure. This is its counter. So what Ali does from there is he tries to shoot over the top and hit me in the face. When he does that, I direct it up. He's okay. What I don't want him doing is immediately pulling his arm back down. So as he goes through the shot and I direct it up, I'll go there. Okay, that's the first part of it, so it's jammed from there. So it's basically just like an agyuki, but you prop it as well at the same time. This one, by the way, is very badly explained by Motobu, so I'm doing a bit of filling of the gaps here. Right? So you've got one photograph and a not great explanation, but this is, I'll put it all together, this is what I think he's saying. So Ali does the shot and I direct. See, bear in mind, that's not Ali throwing the shot and I go like from here and I go block. I'm already in contact with him. So I feel it start to move and I just roll it up. You know, so there's much more chance of that working than using it at a distance, right? But anyway, so I've got that there, that's the opening movement. Is that okay? So I guide it up and I prop it and I'm ready for the next part. So everyone okay to give that a go? Fingers out. You'll find it's way more comfortable, so you just bring your hand that way. Because my elbow's beneath it there. If I go there, my elbow's out the side. And if he tries to pull down, it's the strength of my triceps only. If I've got my hand this way around, the bone's directly underneath it. Is that okay? So you want to be stopping it with your structure, not with your muscle. Is that okay? Okay, quick go at that one now.